Hey guys, so this is our permaculture garden. It's just a garden, let's call it a garden instead of calling it a permaculture garden. But it's only an experimental garden. And by that, what I mean is what's happening in here will happen on a massive scale all over the land once we establish what is working and what's not working. Of course, it's next to the animal rescue, so we have 57 dogs living right next to it, so it's a bit noisy here. But, for instance, we've started to grow bananas, as you can see, and we have sugarcane growing, and we use this for our daily greens for the children and for ourselves. They're constantly cycling, so we always have greens every single day from here. We have papaya, we have sweet corn growing. We're doing test crops on things like Brussels sprouts, zucchinis we get, or courgettes as we call them in England. We get massive ones here, like constantly. Every time we plant them we get massive ones. So it's all experimental. We grow aubergines as well. So yeah, but it's all experimental, and what I mean by that is we're establishing how much water we use and best ways to grow things, and using natural insecticides. You know, there are a lot of wild chili plants around here, so we can crush up chili in water and use it as an insecticide, but then it can actually pollute the plant, we've discovered, and stuff like this. So, as in make it spicy if you don't clean it. So these are all things that we're doing on this smaller scale, and I thought I'd show you all, because this is experimental as I say, but I thought I'd show you all this area that we have and how we aim to transplant it into a bigger zone, and how the banana plants, which has a very beautiful resident on it at the moment. From myself learning over this last year with this place in the water, that banana plant was planted as a small one, and it took a lot of water to get it that big. This banana tree, not plant I should say, and I know how much water they use. So because of that, I'm studying permaculture. I'm reasonably new to the topic and I can't study it full time. What I've devised is that we should always have a permanent supply of bananas by taking the washing sinks that we have. Now we have a grey water area for the washing sinks where the water is used to wash dishes, so the soap can come down. We have another area we can't use because the children's nappies get washed in there. So the grey water currently is going underground and siphoning off and helping to in a soak away, to help soak away our waste, but we don't need it in there. So I'm going to channel the grey water from those sinks into a channel, and that channel will feed a set of banana trees which will live down the land basically. Then I'll move on to rainwater harvesting and what we're going to do there. We're setting up for the short rains which are coming shortly, ironically, and that will be done using guttering from every building, but we don't have the tanks. But what I can do is build tanks using all of the water bottles we have. We have thousands of water bottles, and we just fill them with dirt and we turn them into bricks that way. So we'll start building water tanks with them as well. We also have a plan to do an underground rainwater harvest, but let me take you up to the other land to show you that. But before I do that, I need to let my dog out. Okay. Come on. Good boy. Come on. If you're wondering why he's green, it's a repellent, because we have so many flies that they eat holes in the dog's ears, so it's a repellent to keep the flies off their ears. So that's why he's green. Okay, I'll take you to the next pitcher's land. Okay, so having the animal rescue down there means that it's very, very difficult to grow things and have the dogs running around. So a part of the land can't be used for dogs. Now, we have our well-trained security dogs, and they will be allowed on this area of the land, which is where the new section of Featherstail is developing. The new section will have the Centre for Special Needs Children and a home for smaller children and critical care for babies and infants. Now, this land it's empty, it's very rocky, and the water table unfortunately is 85 meters deep, so drilling a borehole is so expensive that I cancelled the idea, because I also don't know the quality of the groundwater once I get down to it. So the water system, what we're going to have in place, is as follows. Here, at the highest point, gravitationally speaking, at the top of the hill, we are going to build what will look like an underwater swimming pool, but with a lid on it. And this will be a massive tank for storing rainwater. Now, the rainwater that we store will be used to make this green, because it was green recently if you look at the videos, but now the weather's shifting and the dry season's coming in. And when the dry season comes in, we are hot here and dry and dusty. So, and very little grows except the local plant life. However, here through the land, as you'll see in the corner, we have a natural stream. Now, in the rainy season, this channels all of the water from up here into one area. It comes down here and it comes down the road as well. So this will be rechanneled into our underwater swimming pools, because there'll be more than one, and they'll be sectioned off. And this will hold, if we get it correctly, tens of thousands of litres. And this water will make everything green all of the time. That means when we build the children's homes, the homes can be built with a complete permaculture design in mind, and using the rainwater, which we'll catch and store, and using solar pumps to bring it back out of the tanks, we can make the whole of this area fruit production, and on the walls there'll be vegetable production, and the whole thing will be a live-in food forest with accommodation for the special needs children. And this part of our home, once this is done correctly, we'll move on to the next area getting done correctly. In a truly ideal world, I'd like to move the rescue dogs out of Featherstail and get a new plot of land somewhere out of the way where we don't hear them barking and howling, and where they don't destroy the land, because they destroy everything for planting. If we plant stuff, and we have to fence it off because of them, and it's not okay, you know, to do it that way. But we do love our dogs, so they have to be around. But then we'll start developing the rest of Featherstail to incorporate the food forest principles around it as well. But we now know what plants to do what and what needs how much water, and we know what to do. We know how to recycle our water from the sinks that we are using. We know how to channel the grey water from the washing sinks and to ensure they're separated from the water from washing the nappies. And on top of all of that, I will be capitalising on having 50 plus dogs on the land, and I'll be getting a biogas tank. And the biogas tank will be where all of the dog poo goes, because there's a lot of it from so many dogs. And the gas that's naturally produced from that poo will come out of the biogas tanks and will feed into the kitchen for cooking the dog's food, and feed into the kitchen for cooking our food as well. So we'll get a free gas supply. So we will be leaving as minimal a footprint as humanly possible once we get the infrastructure in place on this land. And God willing, we are hoping, because nobody wants this land ahead of me on the other side of the fence, and this stretches over to the valley with the forest where the monkeys and things live. So God willing, I will someday be able to expand in this direction as well once this is working. And I believe once you have a 4, 5, 6 acre village which has hundreds of residents and it's self-supporting, I think that that is at the point where you can go and talk at places where ears that need to hear ideas like this will hear them. It's no good having charities constantly asking for handouts. It's no good. Charities should ask for one set amount of money. They should be able to go and say, I need $250,000. I need to build a sustainable community. I need someone to stay over to manage it and make sure that everything goes as it should do. And then we need to step away and let the people in that area dig themselves out of poverty. We don't need to just keep handing them money. And that is what has to be born out of this, in my eyes. This is what has to be born. So. But this is the big plan, and you'll see it unfurling. We've already got the sewage system in place, which is bacteria based, so it never needs to be emptied. Bacteria eats the poop and the urine siphons off into the ground. And we have the new water towers are getting started just here, so you'll see that in the coming weeks. They will be going, 2 of them will be going here, and the others will be going at the top of the land. That way the 2 here will be able to, the gravity will be able to feed the houses below it, and the ones here, the gravity will be able to feed the houses above those 2. So, and that is those are the permaculture plans for Feathers Tail. I hope I haven't bored you too much. God bless. Bye. John Icky, come on. Ooh.